We're now moving on to payroll, and you will need to use this if you are a director of a limited company and you're taking a salary out of your company and you're employed and that's taking a salary through PAYE, or if you're a sole trader or a limited company and you have a team who are employed and are on PAYE for their salary. So what you will have done is you will have already registered your payroll scheme with HMRC and you will have 2 references. You can't set this up and run all of this until you've got those references. So HMRC usually take around about 2 weeks to get those references on a good day, but it can take longer. So just bear that in mind when you register and try and get everything set up. So once you're ready to go, make sure you've got your bank account set up in your organisation. Then go to payroll and overview. This is the best way to start setting up because it will walk you through the process. So first of all, we want to do your payroll accounts. So we're going to select the bank account we're going to pay the wages from. We're then going to start setting up all the liability accounts. So the PAYE liability. So this is when the PAYE is deducted from your team, your staff or you, if you're on a salary, it's going to sit in here until you make that payment to HMRC. So that's where that goes. When you make the payroll and you know what you need to pay your team, the amount payable to your team will go into here. And then when we did the bank reconciliation, when you reconcile it, you also reconcile it here. So when you run the payroll, it goes into that pot, and then when you make the payment, it goes out of that pot and out the bank. NIC matches up to here. Now what we do for our clients is because you don't make 2 separate payments to HMRC, so we actually merge these 2 together and just call it NIC and PAYE payable. So you can do that in the chart of accounts, and that'll be the same. And then you've got this employee benefit contribution, which you can add in as well. It's all set up ready. Next. So the next thing you want to do is your wage is expense account, which defaults to salaries, which is what we want it to go to, and the employer's national insurance, which defaults to here. These are the costs to your business. So these in your profit and loss, these are the costs. So this is the salary full amount. So say your salary amount is 20,000 and you have tax off of that. That goes to the tax amount, but it's still part of the cost to your business, although it's paid separately to HMRC. And then the amount that gets paid to your employee after tax is the wages payable bit. And then the employer's national insurance is a little bit of national insurance you pay on top of their salary, which is also an expense to your business. That is all done. So the next thing to do is to pay frequency. Mostly nowadays, monthly is the norm, but you can have weekly, fortnightly, weekly, quarterly or annually. But we're going to do monthly, and we're going to put standard monthly. And we're going to put the start date of a pay period. So we're going to I'm going to backdate this to April, and the first date of the payment, well, they get paid on the last working day of the month. So it's got it all here, period, when it will start and everything. So just check you're happy and close. Tax information. So this is where you're going to use those references from HMRC. So you'll have 2 references. You've got your PAYE reference and your accounts office reference. So this will look something like this. It'd be a number / a letter or 2 letters. Quite often it's just 1 and then some numbers. And then your accounts office reference will always be the same 3 letters as your office number. P, then another letter, and then some numbers. I can't remember how many off the top of my head now. Don't worry about this. You don't need it. Same as you don't need this, and you don't need this either. these bits are important though. So if you are claiming the employment allowance, if you are eligible for it, then you will tick that you are here. Now, to be eligible for the employment allowance, you need to have 2 or more employees over the threshold. Are paid over a certain threshold, and then you'll get, it's changed this year, so I can't remember if it's 4,000 or 5,000, but anyway, you get a certain amount off of your national insurance, employer's national insurance bill for the year. There is a top threshold, so if your employer's national insurance bill for the previous year is over £100,000, then you cannot claim it. There is a link here to the guidelines. I'll also pop a link in the description notes with all the details on the employment allowance in plain English from our website for you to have a read through to see if you're a qualifier. So if you do, you tick yes, and then the majority of companies will be ticking this one here. Then you've got these two over here. Are you eligible for small employers relief? So if you are paid less than a certain level of Class 1 national insurance in the last year, then you are. It is quite a high amount. Most small businesses will be eligible for it. So double check the, again, we'll pop the details in the description notes so you can go and check the eligibility and do it either one. Payroll and benefits is another one. You can, so previously with benefits, at the end of every year, you'd have to do a P11 report to HMRC and send another document out to all of your team, and they would pay for their benefits annually. So benefits, for example, company car, medical insurance, gym, and many other things. There is an option now that it can be paid throughout the year as part of payroll. So if you want to do that, you have to register with HMRC before the new tax year. And then once you're registered, you can click yes. And if you're not registered, say no. You then need your government gateway credentials. Now, this is the details that you use to log on to HMRC to view your PAYE account. If you haven't added your PAYE to your government gateway, then you need to do that first, because you won't be able to submit any payroll I can't get my words up, sorry. You won't be able to submit any payroll submissions until you've done that. So once you've done that, pop the details in there and then you can click save. So I just popped some dummy ones in there so that I could get past it and get over. The next bit is the workplace pension. So again, you need to qualify for certain thresholds if you need to use the pension. So again, follow the steps here. Do you have a duty start date or staging date? If you have registered and previously for your PAYE, you would have been sent a letter with the details on. If you haven't, you can just pop no. So you can do that. I'm just going to use Nest as an example because it's the one we mostly use and it connects manually and it's really good. It connects automatically and it's really good. You then put in all your details and authorize Xero and connect up. Again, I'm going to stop this because we can't do a live one, so you wouldn't need to worry about doing this all manually, so just ignore this. But I'm just trying to get it through to the next bit so we can do the next part, which it's not going to let me do. Okay, so I can't get past it because I can't obviously connect to a pension company, so it's not letting me do it. But if you just choose your pension company, click connect and follow the steps, it will get everything set up and going for you. And then the next bit is to add employees, and I'm going to do that separately. So if you need to look at the settings, you can always come in here, payroll settings, and you've got all of the different bits here as well. If you've already used, you've done payroll and you're moving over and you're partway through a year, you can pop all the details in here of where you're at. Oh, it's 5,000 for the employment allowance. There you go. You can pop all the details of what you've got remaining and what you've done and everything into here as well. One thing I would do is I would also set up a pay item for the director's salary. So the director's salary, when you do the accounts, is actually separate from everyone else's salary. So if you are a limited company and a director and taking a salary, then I would recommend setting that up separately so that you don't need to make that adjustment at the end of the year. So I'm just going to add in regular earnings, director salary, and that's going to go to 478 directors remuneration. And that is now in there at the bottom. So that's all of the setups that you need to do other than adding employees, and we'll cover that in the next video.